What is spirituality? Ooh, it's going to be a juicy one, Light Fam. What is up? It is David, your spiritual awakening coach, here to help you through your spiritual awakening. What is spirituality? Spirituality is going to mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But I think if we break down the word and examine it, we can dispel a lot of misinformation about what many believe to be spiritual, but in fact is quite the opposite. So let's look at the root of the word spirituality or spiritual. The root is spirit. Now, the word spirit is, again, going to mean many different things to many different people. But I think we all can agree that whatever your concept of spirit is, there has to be a large component that would be ego-less. Now, why would spirit be ego-less? Well, the famous psychiatrist and psychoanalyst Carl Jung said that the ego is a mechanism for survival. So it would stand to reason that if there's no need to survive, there wouldn't be a need for an ego. What does this mean? Well, it means that the non-physical doesn't have an ego because it's only the physical that can die, right? It's only the physical body that can die or would need to survive. So if spirit is non-physical, this would mean that spirit is ego-less. So if the spirit is ego-less, then it would be impossible for spirit to be in alignment with jealousy, narcissism, vengefulness, the desire for obedience from everyone, the desire to be worshiped, the desire to eternally torture those who don't worship, the desire to eternally torture those who don't sacrifice their lives as a demonstration of love and obedience. Maniacal narcissism, the desire for all of the credit for anything and everything good that has ever happened or will ever happen to you in your life forever. All of those things are 1000% ego, which means they can't be the things of spirit because we've already established that spirit is ego-less. So if that's not the true nature of spirit, then who might the culprit be behind these false beliefs about the nature of spirit? Man. Why? Because man has an ego. Quite simply, you can't trust the espousings from the ego about the nature of the ego-less. In other words, the physical can't be the absolute authority on the nature of the non-physical. What it really boils down to is fear is not qualified to speak on the true nature of unconditional love. Love and fear are two polar opposite frequencies. So when we ask what is spirituality, a true spirit, true awakening, is waking up to a higher awareness of the ego and its agenda, which then gives you the opportunity to take one step back from the ego, which then allows you to discern what is ego, fear, and what is love. Because after a spiritual awakening, you're much more in alignment with what love actually is. And that gives you the opportunity to respond from a place of fear in alignment with the ego, or from a place of love in alignment with your true essence as source or God, having a physical experience, which is the foundation of the reason for you choosing to incarnate in the first place. So spirituality is about journeying back to that egoless aspect of your true essence, which is source, having a physical experience. And that journey is an adventure of learning and healing through all of the things that you are not to give you a better understanding of what you truly are. Again, this is the whole point for choosing to incarnate in the first place. The physical body is just the timer that lets you know when your adventure or your training simulation or your physical experience here in the 3D is up. And now it's time to go back from whence you came to marinate on all of the experiences and lessons that you chose for this particular incarnation. So however you want to define spirituality, at its core, it's waking up to a higher conscious perspective so that you can discern between what is fear, ego, and what is love, and then being spiritually mature enough to choose love over fear as much as you can. So what is spirituality? It's remembering to remember what you chose to forget by taking on an ego, and then being brave enough to act in accordance with that remembrance as often as possible. I love you guys. Namaste.